Hello, my Teaserking family. How the hell is everybody today? I is fine. Busy morning, but I like that. So I got the oil change. I give them gold advice and Teaserking picks for free oil changes at the Toyota dealership. And when I'm there, I'm teaching them economics. They can't sell any cars because with the interest rate, it's too expensive for most people. They sell some, but volume's way down. I says, well, soon I'll come in here with an ounce of gold and buy your cars for you. So we've got 4th of July holiday, and Comex should really jump. Normally we see our little paper gold friends going down on when it's the U.S. time, right? The 10 o'clock drop. 4th of July, there's not going to be one. It's going to go down, basically. Let's get... I hate when the gold... Well, I can't. It's like it won't refresh on me. Sometimes it does that. The futures are 23.40, so they're even anyway. So I can't tell you this right now, but it's been 23.30 most of the day. So when BRICS goes and buys, because they want a higher gold price, the U.S. 10 o'clock drop won't happen because the markets close Thursday and Friday for the holiday. But it's only in America, right? It's 4th of July. They don't care about 4th of July in Asia and Europe. So, with that said, we should see a lot higher gold price the next few days as the gold goes up, but there's no down mechanism. So I think we'll see 2,400 by Friday. Hopefully it's blowing up. I think that's happening, but again, it's the Titanic hit the ice, but then it doesn't sink right away. But it's sinking, and then it sinks, and that's, I think, what we have. We know Comex gold is blowing up, not quite yet silver, but not yet. I was educating one of the salesmen at the Toyota dealership, waiting for my oil change, and he's fascinated. He's wearing all this gold jewelry, and I warned him, be careful with that. It's not worth what you think it is. And I said, if I was you, what I did was I moved my wedding ring and some other stuff into the thing for the, I switched it for coins, because the jewelry, you don't get 100% back. Even this is 1 ounce of gold, but it's 18 carats. So I get 18 carat price, which is 3/4 of a price. So if gold's 4,000, I get 3,000 for this, not 4, because it's 18 karat gold, which means it's not 100% gold. It's mixed. 18 of the 24 carats is gold. The rest is whatever, copper, brass, whatever. So I went from the oil change to the gold to the gold store just to check what's going on. They are closed from Thursday the 4th till Monday the 8th. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. They're normally closed Sunday and Monday. Anyway, the holiday, they'd be closed Thursday. So instead of being open Friday and Saturday, they're closed. we've got something going on with Biden where obviously they put him in the debate to show the guy's senile. And we don't know who's going to take over. I don't think it'll be Kamala Harris. She can't beat Trump in an election. She couldn't beat, anybody. A 5-year-old kid she couldn't beat. Yeah, I know you got to be 35, but she's very unpopular. So I don't know who they're gonna stick in there, but we will see. I don't know. I got a feeling something's going to happen this weekend because it's the holiday weekend. It's the perfect time to shut Friday down. Monday morning opens up and boom, banks collapse. I mean, it's the second quarter, right? We've just closed the second quarter. Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June. So now it's all fresh. Just don't be surprised if Monday morning something is freaky, right? Keep that in mind. I don't think we'll go to a new currency, but something strange happened. I watched this video on Pelicize that I thought the guest was out of his freaking mind. And I looked at his bio and he was like a self-made economist. I taught myself. Nobody can teach yourself economics. And are you teaching yourself Keynesian or are you teaching yourself classical Austrian? And he was the strangest. He gave me the willies. He was the strangest guy I've ever listened. And he was wrong on everything. Everybody knows, and I've read you that, and these are from my Austrian economics teacher, gold is the best hedge for inflation by far. It's nothing close because it is real money and you can't print it. And he said, "Oh no, it isn't. It's not the biggest hedge for inflation." I'm like, "Oh, who are we talking about here?" And everything he said was like contradictory to what we know. And he keeps using these mathematical things, which we know doesn't work. And he couldn't prove any points, and he talked gibberish. And I just gave him like 3 negatives. So somebody liked my negative. I said, just do Austrian economics. So I get a like on it, right? So I go in to see who liked me and if they left a comment, and it was gone. The video is gone. One of my comments was, this guy is a convict. He's a, what did they call it? Anyway, he was a convicted guy who, why do you have an ex-con? I'll show you. Guy's name is Martin Armstrong. So I look at him on Wikipedia, and if you read it, it goes, an American self-taught economic forecaster and convicted felon who spent 11 years in jail for cheating investors out of $700 million and hiding $15 million in assets from regulators. What the fuck do you have this guy on as your guest? And then I posted this on the YouTube in the comment section. I go, why do you have a Madoff and a felon doing the show? Now, I don't know what a self-taught economic forecaster is. It doesn't say, occupation forecaster. So am I a forecaster? I don't know. Known for economic confidence model. What the fuck does that mean? So this is all like education. Assets do not appreciate linearly over time, and that historically some manner of economic panic occurs every 8.6 years. What the fuck does that mean? You cannot time things like that. So the guy didn't even go to college. He did not obtain a college degree. So why is this guy on your fucking Martin Armstrong? Why is this guy on your fucking show? I wouldn't do a show with a convicted felon who steals people's money and then he's giving advice out. So I really did not. I gave it a negative, and then these type of comments. And next thing I know, the video's gone. Probably the convict comments. Who wants to listen to a convict who didn't complete school, who you don't know what he is? He's a forecaster because every 8.6 years, what the hell is that? What do I say about forecasting using trend analysis? You can't do it because there's too many variables and they change. Right? Football. Brady ain't there anymore. Manning's left Indy for Denver. Brady left New England for Tampa. At what point are you talking about? So there is no, there's really nothing there. So you can't do, the trends change all the time. There's injuries, there's weather, who knows? But you can use them if it's like I can use trends on Kansas City to get a feel to make a quarter of my bet based on they're a great dog. Mahomes a great dog. Okay, so I can bet the Super Bowl. Mahomes a great dog. 25% of the bet was because Mahomes a great dog. Okay, so I could use the trend there a little bit. But to forecast this and to say every 8.6 years, so what are we supposed to do every 8.6 years? Buy stocks, don't buy stocks. I mean, it depends who's elected. It depends everything. So anyway, I found this guy to be serious trouble. Okay, so let's go to baseball. Now, the ironic thing about yesterday is I didn't like, there's 3 games. The 2 games I gave picks, but I'm not betting these. They both won. I had the Mets and I had Colorado over 11. Both won. I'm hot. Every 8.6 days, I'll pick a winner. Okay. So I've got my little, so look at the difference. So this is a half ounce. But then look at the container. See how small it is? It'll fit the coin. This is what I use for my Maple Leafs. Now, the problem is here, I can't fit this inside, but this will fit inside. That's why I got them, because I'm moving most of my gold into these coins. It's much safer, much more secure, much easier to travel with. I can be at the airport, have some halves and ounces in my pocket. Nobody knows. I'm walking down the street of Switzerland. Nobody knows. And it beats all the silver. Now I'm talking travel. Okay. Now you can still bring a case of silver, which is perfectly fine. But that's it. Now I was able to go on Amazon and order this in this size. So the ones I'm going to get, and I'll show you, I should get it Saturday. This should fit in the bigger size because they're made for the 1 ounce. So I got 5 of them for $6. So these must be like 50-cent things. So I got 5 of these, this size that holds 20. I don't think it'll hold 20 in the plastic. It'll hold, if I took the coin out, you can see it's thicker with the thing. It would hold 20 coins as this would, but I want to protect it like my baseball cards. So I keep it in there. So I'll be able to put this into the thing, but I want my half ounces separate. I'll put my ounces. I got I got US and Cougaran and Philharmonics. They're all bigger. Those I will put in my, bigger cases. And I just think I think it's You can definitely, you're more secure. You can hide them much easier. Right now, I got them in a big bag. Well, if I got this, how hard is it? I can hide this anywhere. Nobody's going to find it. So, I mean, I can put this in the fridge and with a thing of red peppers, and nobody's going to know. I mean, that's the beauty. You can just, but in the big bag, I can't. So, here's 20 ounces. It's in the freezer next to the Cool Whip. It may be even in the Cool Whip container. So, anyway, that's the idea behind this, is to kind of, it's the same thing as doing the cards and the frames, right? I can handle the cards easier and put them in the 4-column boxes much easier with this. I don't have to worry about anything. And I got a lot of cards and frames. It's funny, when you first get the cards, they're worth a lot. Then all of a sudden, they're not worth as much. And then other players are worth a lot. So it keeps shifting to what is worth something and what isn't. Like, the Roger Clemens and the Barry Bonds were worth a lot. Mark McGwire, then he does steroids. Now, apparently that makes it no value. So I got, big McGwire and Clemens cards and Bonds cards that aren't worth nearly what they should be. Okay. Got enough foreplay. Let's put, now the first baseball game is 6:40, I believe. Yep. Full slate tonight. I keep biting my lip. All right. Game number 1, White Sox, Cleveland. Chris Flexen, 2-7 with the 5.13 for the White Sox. Carlos Carrasco, 3-6 with the 5.27. Can we get over in the game? So I have updated my sheet. I did this, I believe, yesterday. So everything's updated. So I highlighted yellow for their bad, this is what, ERA. So Arizona with the 4.5 ERA, then you see Atlanta with the 3.10 ERA. So it's easier to spot, right? If they're green, oh, there it is. If they're yellow, okay. And we noticed the batting average, right? Look at, who is this? Boston went from 219 to 220. And the White Sox went from 230 to 228. So you see very little movement. Here's one that moved. Colorado went to 243. Probably had a lot of road games, which I think they did. So you'll see the batting average doesn't move very much because you're doing probably 35, 40 at-bats a game. You're getting at least 27. Figure 10 guys on base between hits, errors, and walks. You're probably close, let's say 35 to 40. You do that a lot, then there's very little variance that you're going to get. But does it mean anything? Well, that's the point of the variable. Does that variable mean anything in baseball? The fact that Baltimore hits 255 and White Sox hit 220, does that matter? I don't know. I'm not winning bets because I'm betting the 250. I'm not winning the overs because I'm betting the 250. I can tell you that. So really not sure. And that's why I put variables in the title. It's you're trying to, well, it was mostly because of that guy, that scary guy. But basically what you're looking at is which variables are meaningful. And in baseball, I'm not sure there's any variables. You have to realize there is no variables. That's the first thing. Then it's the starting pitcher, depending if he's going to get 4 innings or 7 innings. Then it's the bullpen, provided which pitcher pitches. And then it's probably where's the game at? And is it in Colorado or not? Or Chicago, Boston? Or does the batting average matter? I'm not sure the batting average matters. Now, when we look at football, what do we look at? Are they an over team? Let's take the Detroit Lions, right? They score almost 30 a game, but they give up almost 30 a game. So they're an over team, and they should score, and they should give up points. And that's consistent, right? That works. We know Kansas City was like an 18 defense. We know they didn't allow a lot of points. So a good offense like the Lions playing a good defense like KC, we know KC is going to win. We understand that variable in football, right? Good defense beats good offense 100% of the time. That's why Mahomes had 19 points in the Super Bowl in regulation, 17 against Baltimore with their defense, a little bit more against Miami because they have no defense, even though it was 50 below. And against Buffalo, they got 27. So you can see when you get into the better defenses, Baltimore and the Niners, they didn't score as much because the good defense will shut you down. That's the problem with Lamar and these running quarterbacks. Hurts, when they get in against these better defenses, they're fucked. They don't have a chance. So, with that being said, I can say I do have volume. All right. So, in a roundabout way, what do we do with Cleveland and the White Sox? So I said the White Sox hit 220. Cleveland hits 245. So hitting wise, Cleveland. Pitching wise, it's dead even. Carrasco is pitching bad this year, 3-6 with the 5.27. Flexen 2-7 with the 5. Cleveland's going to get us some runs. Chicago isn't. Cleveland's a 210 favorite, over under 9. Probably over because the pitching's so bad. But how long are we getting the pitching? Is this pitching? This is the next variable we're learning. Is this pitching going 4 innings or 6 innings? Are they both going to give up 5 runs? That's the analysis, right? The analysis is they'll both give up 5 runs. That's 10 runs. Over unders 9 will go over. Now, how many percent of the time does that happen? Probably a good 60, 65% of the time. I haven't been tracking it. Maybe that's something I need to track. I definitely am pounding it when I see an over under a 7.5 and you're getting the 9. I definitely see that. So looking at this, I can't go under with 2-5 pitchers. Cleveland can hit. White Sox, what did the White Sox, did they go up? 217, 219, 220. So they're hitting a little bit better. Real quickly, Bryce Harper pulled his hamstring Saturday. That's why we haven't seen him in the lineup on Sunday and Monday. And fortunately, we're okay with Ranger Suarez on Monday. Even though Bryce Harper didn't play, they got 2 other 300 hitters, and we got the win. So with that said, we know Bryce Harper's out, right? But it's funny, even with Ranger Suarez, it was like a 8-7 game. So Ranger Suarez, I think, is kind of getting worn out. And I think that's the problem. I don't think every 5 days helps the pitcher. I think it hurts him. I gets out of his rhythm. I don't think he's mentally. I was watching some baseball. What was I watching? The 60s, right, on YouTube. And you'd have loved it. The manager goes to, I don't know who it was, Koufax or Bob Gibson, and said, I'm giving you the ball, and I don't expect to get it back. It wasn't those two, but it was that quality. And the manager said, I'm giving you the ball. You're pitching the whole game. And you better strengthen up. And so they'd pitch batting practice, and they'd pitch extra pitches to get in shape and to get the arm and get ready to pitch 9 innings. And the manager said, I'm giving you the ball. I don't want it back. You're pitching the whole game, even if it goes 10, 11 innings. And there was one thing they said, I think it was Warren Spahn and somebody else pitched 16 innings. They both picked 16 innings, and it was like a 2-1 game or something like that. But they both pitched the whole game. And it was like, we're not pulling you out. I don't want to go to a reliever. And if you can't do it, I'll find somebody who can. And it was so refreshing. Like, that's what we need. But the pitchers now are so babied, 5 innings every 5 days. They don't have, first of all, they can't get out of a jam because they don't know how. And they for them to go 5 innings because their arm might get tired, what a joke. So wait a minute, baseball, You could pitch 16 innings and not get hurt in the 60s over the 70s, and then all of a sudden now, oh, the guy can only go 100, or he might get hurt. Oh my God. What are you guys talking? What are you guys doing to the pitchers? So that's the biggest problem with the pitchers. These guys are made to go 5 innings. This Chris Flexen, I don't think he's ever seen the other side of the fifth inning. And Carlos Carrasco was good, but not this year. He's 3-6, 5.27, but he's capable of giving you 7 innings. But at a 5.27 ERA, I'm not sure I want it. So this is really a tough one. I would say it's an over, but I'm just going to pass on it. I don't like it. So let's do what we did yesterday. I'm just going to say Cleveland over 9, but no bet. So when I say I'm trying to give some forecast, I'll quote the idiot. I'm trying to give some, I don't like forecast. I'm giving some, what am I? Handicap. I'm giving you something into the score, but I don't like it enough to bet it. And this takes us to football. When is it a lock? And that's why you asked me for my lock, because those I'm very confident on, right? But the other games that I look at, like Houston and Indy, I have no idea because they both suck. But the Baltimore Kansas City game, I like the under. Or the 49er Jet game, I like the under. Or the Lion Ram game, I like the over. See, then my confidence is higher, and those are the bets, because not that those are the bets, but that's the idea. Those are the bets because I can kind of analyze them and going, yeah, that makes sense. Like the Super Bowl, it was all Mahomes as a dog. That made perfect sense. That you could see. This game I can't. All right, let's move on. St. Louis and Pitt. Pitt's 125-8. Kyle Gibson 5-3 with the 3.70. Mitch Keller 9-4 with the 3.20. How are these boys hitting? Pittsburgh 227 and St. Louis 239. And the bullpen, St. Louis, good bullpen. It's green. 357 in Pitt, yellow 461. So it's kind of a mix there. I'm going to go under 8. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, Pitt under 8. We'll go 3 units. Now, I am forcing this game. That's why it's 3 units. I am forcing it a little. 3.20 and a 3.70, and the bullpen for St. Louis is good, but Pitt, so we'll see. Boston and Miami. Boston minus 175-8 in Miami. So no little green wall. Cutter Crawford 3-7, 3.59. Valentin Bellozo 0-0 with an 0-0. And you know how I hate the 0-0s with the 0-0s. Cutter Crawford used to be good, and then he woke up, and now he's not. Miami can't hit. Boston, 3.50 ERA, 2.50 batting average, so they're not bad. Miami, I have as a 4.04 ERA, 2.31 batting average. So they're starting to hit a little bit better, Miami. Boston out of Fenway, you're in Miami, it's the heat. I'm not sure I want to. Well, it's at 640, so it's not as much heat. But I ain't betting on Cutter Crawford. I can't bet the other guy 0-0 with the 0-0-0. I don't know what I'm getting, so I'm gonna just leave this game alone. The Mets in Washington. The Mets have been hot. Sean Mania 5-3 with the 3.89 for the Metis. DJ Hers 1-2 with the 5.48. I'm gonna go with the JETS Mets. 3 units. Cincinnati and the Yankees. Cincinnati gets their turn at it. The Yankees big favorite, 210, 8.5 over under. Graham Ashcraft 4-4 with the 5.45. Luis Gill 9-3 with the 3.15. Last time we bet Luis Gill, he didn't show up. He'll probably show up. Cincinnati on the road. Cincinnati's better at home. Yankees, we know, are better at home. They get that short right field fence. Yeah, let's go Yankees. It's an all New York night. Go New York Yanks. Go the Mets. Go the Jets. Go the Rangers. And go the Giants. All right. Houston and Toronto. Spencer Spaghetti, 4-6 with the 5.68 ERA for Houston. Jose Berrios, 7-6 with the 3.38. I like Toronto here. I'm not betting it. I don't want to bet against Houston. Actually, the more I think about it, I am going to bet this game, but I'm betting it over 8.5. El Turve is really hitting I'm going to make this 5 units, actually. Toronto is hitting 236 with the 4.77 ERA. Houston's going to have a field day. Houston's hitting 265 now. They're the leading hitters, I think. So I'm looking for Houston to hit a lot. I don't know. And Spaghetti gives up 5 runs. So this should be 8.5. Yeah, let's go 5 units. This game's over 8.5. Sometimes you work around to get to it, but Altuve, Bregman's starting to hit. Too much power against Jose Berrios, 7-6. All right, 3.38 ERA. How's their bullpen? It's 4.77. So, and even that, and this is what really makes the variables hard. Oh, you look at Toronto, 4.77 ERA. You're expecting Houston to get 2-3 runs between the 6th inning and the 9th inning. That doesn't mean anything. I've seen where the pitchers are 5 ERAs and they're shutting. It's 2 innings and 0 runs, 0 hits. And you look at the ERA, it's 4.9, it's 5.5. What the fuck? Then you look at the ERA of a 2 and he gives up 5 runs. You're like, what? My biggest thing is when the manager comes out in the 9th inning and the guy's got a 7 ERA and he gives up 3 runs and they lose the game. And you're like, well, why would you put a guy with a 7 ERA to pitch the 9th inning? Well, they were lefties, and he's a lefty. Yeah, okay, that's why he's got a 7 ERA. They do way too much of that bullshit. All right, the 49ers against the Falcons, NFC West game. Atlanta 2-10-8. Hate Birdsong, never heard of this guy. 0-0 at the 5.79 against Ronaldo Lopez, 6-2 with the 1.7. We are going Atlanta. Add in the travel for the Niners. The travel there. We're going, this is 5 units. 0-0 with the 5.79. Almost sounds like a reliever. The Tigers, the most unpredictable team in the world in any sport. 38-46. Minnesota 47-37. Minnesota 125, 7.5. So they're favored at home. We got Tarek Skubal, Detroit's ace, 9-3 with 2.32. He was running along, then he had 2 bad games, and then he had a good game last time against Samine Woods Richardson, 3-1 with a 3.41. I got to go Detroit here as a dog. I don't like this Richardson guy. 3-1 with a 3.41. Skubal is the ace. Had a few bad outings. We'll see. I'm sure he's tired going to the West Coast, so not expecting too much out of Detroit. You got to understand they're tired. They fly all the time. They play every day, and then they go to the West Coast. How do you stick that variable in your little formula there, Mr. What do you call him? Mr. Convict. I mean, that's the stuff you can't trend, right? You're trying to trend it. Okay, show me where in the formula it says travels from New York to LA. Where's that part in the formula? That's why formulas don't work. You can't put in those variables. And again, back against the wall. What do you do with it? So you just can't do trend analysis. It's very difficult because you can't get all the variables. San Diego and Texas. San Diego minus 115. Dylan Cease was good, then went bad. Now he's getting a little better. 7-6 at the 3.84 against Nathan Eovaldi. 4-3 with the 3.45. San Diego is hitting 263, and Texas is hitting 238. San Diego's favored. Dylan Cease, 3.84. Nathan Eovaldi. You don't know what to do because the total is too low at 7.5. with these pitchers, but I'm not playing San Diego's hitting 260. I'm not playing them in an under. And Texas can hit the hell out of the ball at home. We know they got all that power. So I have probably an over, but I'm not playing. Philadelphia at the Cubbies. The Cubbies are favored, 125, 9.5. Michael Mercado, 0-0 with an 0-0-0. Hayden Wisniewski, 2-4 at 3.60. Let's see. Hayden's a bullpen guy. And Michael Mercado is, he pitched. He's pitched one game. He pitched one inning against the Tigers. Of course, he got no runs, no hits, no errors. What do you do with this crap? I got a guy who's pitched one inning against Hayden Wisniewski, who's a bullpen guy. Chicago's favored. Don't know why. Over under 9.5. So it's all bullpen. Philly with the green bullpen, so that's a good one. Philly's 334, hitting 260. And the Cubbies are 432, hitting 228. Well, we know Philly's the better team. The Cubbies 432. So this is definitely, I like the Phillies. Boy, and the question is what's going on with Bryce Harper? So until I see Bryce Harper play, I'm not going to play the Philly. Even with Ranger Suarez, he let up a bunch. So I like Philly here, but I'm not playing it. So I'm going to just put Philly down. But too much risk to bet because we don't know if Bryce Harper's playing. If he's playing, I would take Philly. So if you find that news out, play Philly. It's an 8-10 game. Tampa Bay against Kansas City. Tom Brady against Mahomes. It all comes back. KC minus 129.5. Zach Littell 2-5 with a 4.17 for Tampa. Brady Singer 4-4 with a 3.12. Now I know this Brady Singer used to be like a 2.2 ERA. Is now a 3.12. He got killed his last game out. At home against Tampa, I think KC. I'm not betting this one. I think KC wins. Over under 9.5. I just see KC hitting Zach Littell. Brady Singer maybe gets back on track. Milwaukee, Colorado. Dallas Keuchel. Wow, I haven't heard him this year. 0-0 with an 11.25. Now I know why. Ryan Feltner, 1-7 with the 5.82 ERA. When the hell did Dallas Keuchel pitch? I would have recognized him. Let's see. He pitched June 26th, so he just pitched. Gave up in 4 innings, gave up 8 hits, 5 runs. Now, again, it's his first game. He was on Houston for a while. Good God. And he was on there from 213 to 218. He was like their ace. Then goes to Atlanta, then goes to the White Sox, then goes to Texas, then goes to Arizona, then Minnesota, now Milwaukee. He's now it's 2013 to 2024. He's been in 279 games, started 264 of them. He's won 103 and lost 92, and his ERA is 4.04. Hasn't been good since 2020. Hey, Greg or John. So this is a different Dallas Keuchel. Okay, let's go. We'll go Milwaukee over 11.5. We'll play it really small, 3 units. Ready to play for like 1 unit. He's terrible. He's been terrible the last few years. I don't know if he's injured or just that's it. He's done. Ryan Falter, 1-7 with a 5.82. He ain't winning. So look for this to be really high scoring. California against Oakland. California 115, 7.5. Jose Sereno 4-5 with a 3.40 for California. Mitch Spence 4-4 with a 4.35. What's the news, sir? July 4th. What's the world doing these days? Well, they're going to try to blow themselves up. You got the most incompetent leaders. The best leader is Putin. I mean, that's how crazy the world is. The best. I mean, I'm ready to move to Russia. At least I feel protected with Putin, and at least I know what the hell he's doing. And he's not really communist. Russia's not a communist country. It's pretty capitalist. So I don't know about Biden, if he's going to last for the election. I don't think they can think he can win. I think it was a setup that he did the debate to show how incompetent he is. We'll see. I think the war is supposed to go on till near the election, so figure October, November. BRICS is coming out September, October. The war will end, and we'll see if we hopefully we don't get nuked. I don't think we will. They don't want to nuke us because we'll nuke them, they'll nuke us, and it's all over. And they got all the gold and oil, so they don't want to do anything that stupid. So we will see, but I don't think that'll happen. As stupid as these guys running our country are, I don't know that they want to nuke it. But anyway. California, Oakland, Jose Soriano, 4-5, 3-4-8, Mitch Spence, 4-4. So what do you do with this game? How do you possibly play it? Two terrible pitchers, 3-4-8 and a 4-3-5, nothing to write home. Over under a 7.5. So you go, maybe the over. Well, let's see. Oakland, 353 bullpen, 221 batting. That's the problem with Oakland. They can't hit. And California is a 4.80 ERA and a 2.38 batting average. So between the two of them, neither of them hit. Both bullpens are okay. So what should be an over 7.5 game, I don't even know you can go there. Do I like these games? I like some of them. I'm not getting my pitchers, but we'll see. Like here, California and Oakland, what are you going to do with that game? And the hitting's so weak, you can't even, what are you going to do? It's hard to go over 7.5. You can't go under with these bad pitchers. So not much. Baltimore travels to the east, to the West Coast to play Seattle. Baltimore's a 115 favorite, over under 7. Grayson Rodriguez, 9-3 with the 3.72 against George Kirby, 7-5 with the 3.35 ERA. Now, Baltimore hits, and Seattle doesn't. Seattle has 5 guys on their team in the batting order. 3 of them are under 200, and 2 of them are under 220. And that's bad enough, but when you look at the positions, 2 of them are outfield, one's first base, one's the DH, and you're going, your outfield and your first baseman should be big hitters. Frank Robinson, Boog Powell, all these guys that can hit at Willie Stargell, Dave Parker. How do you have hitters that can't hit 200 playing left field, right field, catching, first base, and DH? What are you insane? The DH has to be somebody that can hit 300. How do you have a 180 hitter being your DH? You might as well let the pitcher bat. So Kirby's not bad. I think Baltimore finds a way. I'm going to go with Baltimore here. I'm going to go 3 innings because I don't love it, but Baltimore has been pretty good. However, we must remember they are flying. They flew to Seattle yesterday, so they're going to be tired from going East Coast to West Coast. That's another variable that you must account for when you're doing variable analysis. Arizona and the Dodgers. Good football game, terrible baseball game. The Dodgers are 190 favorites and a 9 over R. Riley Nelson, 5-6 with the 5.69 against Bobby Miller, 1-1 with the 6-7-5. We're going to go over. Go LA over 9, and we'll play this for 5 units. Arizona hits 250 with a 4.50 ERA, and the Dodgers hit 2.56 with a 3.02 ERA. But the starters are both in the threes, so or both 5s and 6s. So now what happens is, at what point does the manager take him out? That's the problem. Bobby Miller, 1-1 with the 6.75. Is he going to go 3 innings? Is he going to go 6 innings? Then when he goes 3 innings, what's the point of having the 6.75? It doesn't really help us. That's what I'm noticing the problem when I get excited with these high ERAs, thinking the game goes over, and then they only pitch 3 innings. So what I am noticing, there's like one pitcher that'll give up. The managers don't know what they're doing. So the guy starts walking or giving up 3-4 hits. He's not pulling them. Then he gives up 11 hits, and he gives up 9 runs in his 3 or 4 innings. And you're like, why is the guy out there to do that? When I used to manage my girl's fast pitch, if the girl walked the first 2-3 batters in a row, she was gone. I didn't wait for her to walk the whole team. So it was like, that's what you do. You can't. If the pitcher doesn't have it, you got to get them out. There's no sense in them there. So I like some of the games, Greg and John, not all. So here's my picks. Cleveland over 9, Pitt under 8, the Mets, the Yankees, Toronto over 8.5, Atlanta, Detroit, Philly, but watch about Bryce Harper. He didn't pull his hamstring, but it was tender. Don't know what you make of it. Kansas City, Milwaukee over 11.5, Baltimore and LA over 9. My bets: Pitt under 8.5, under 8, 3 units. The Mets 3, the Yanks 3, Toronto over 8.5, 5, Atlanta 5, Milwaukee over 11.5, 3, Baltimore 3, and the Dodgers over 9, 5 units. Those are your plays today. We hit both games yesterday. I was a good boy. I don't know if I made you money or not, but could have. All right, so that's what we have in baseball today. Let's go to the NFL. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, NFL. Let's go through the line. I did it at the end, so let's refresh it today. And we'll look at variables. So Kansas City, 2.5 and 47. It's been 2.5, 46.5 roughly. Green Bay, Philly 1.5, 48.5. It's about right. Chicago 4.5, 43.5 to Tennessee. Okay. I'm going to do the line, then we'll get into the games. Houston laying 2 on the road at 48. Buffalo 7-48 at home. I say it that one game Houston as a road favorite because they're not a real good road favorite. So it's okay if they're favored by 3 at home. Oh, but when they're road favorites, that's really tough to win because the other team gets a little pissed. We're at home, we got no respect, and they're doing that. Cincinnati 9-42. Boy, I'm getting a good number there. I picked 10, I thought, and now we're at 9. Why are we betting against Burrow or Joe Burrow and Chase again? Can I get anybody with logical conclusion? Oh yeah, it must be in the forecast, in the trend. Yeah. Atlanta 2.5, 43. Hasn't moved. I think I like Pitt as the dog there. New Orleans 5-40.5. 4.5. I'll keep it at 4.5 for now, but it looks like 5. Miami 3.5, 49. Okay, that hasn't really moved. And I'm not expecting too many of these to move this early, but the week of the game they'll move. I got the Giants 1-41.5. This one, Giants 1, Mini 1, and now Giants 1 again. Actually, there is on FanDuel, Minnesota's -1. On Bet365 and DraftKings, the Giants are -1. That's why you shop around. If you wanted Minnesota, you'd be better off at Bet365, where the Giants are 1-point favorites. You get 7 points in Minnesota. But if you want the Giants as a home dog, because Minnesota doesn't have a quarterback, then you go to FanDuel and take the Giants as a home dog. Seattle, I got 4.5 and 5-42. About right. Oakland and San Diego, we got San Diego 3.5, 43.5. About right, hasn't moved. Dallas, Cleveland. Now here I got Cleveland now favored -1 and 44. So we did see Dallas as a favorite for a minute, and now it's back to Cleveland. Again, my line's Cleveland -7. We'll see who the quarterback is. Tampa Bay 4-41.5. Okay. Detroit 3.5, 51. Okay. And the Niners 5.5, 45.5. Okay. So that's what we got. Now, we're going to have injuries between the training camp and the preseason practices and games. We will see what happens. So, variable number 1 is, well, we'll go in any order. One variable is injuries. Aaron Rodgers last year. Kelsey didn't play the first week. So that's one that you have to variable. 2 is the weather. Is it going to be really hot? Is it going to be cold? I would expect this first week in September to be hot, except for I don't know about Brazil. I think that would probably be hot. So you have those. Third is the matchup. What's their offense? And then what's their defense and what do they rank? So is KC, we know, is an A team, strong defense, and Mahomes, and Pacheco and Kelsey and all these receivers they're getting back. Funny, you win a Super Bowl, all of a sudden everybody, oh yeah, I'll play for you. So You're looking at offense and defense. You're looking at weather. You're looking at injury. How the hell do how do you put that in a formula? You can't. Then is it back against the wall? Not this early, where a team must win the game. You're trying to get matchups, which are tough. Again, these teams are not going to play in the preseason. KC, well, they did play Mahomes in the preseason a little last year. And so we'll see about that. That gives KC an advantage, but that's one of the things you're looking at. KC has kept their rings that night. That tends to make them a little bit more, their mind's on the rings, not the game, and they relax a little bit. And my friend said, oh, the teams getting the rings were like, 3-15 or something because they're so preoccupied with the rings, they're not playing. Well, I don't know. And a teaser, I don't know. I think KC covered last year. Kelsey was out. I think the Lions won 21-20, but I think I won with the teaser. But again, we don't know. What other variables can we look at? How does Lamar play against a good defensive team? And how does Mahomes play against anybody? Right. So in a normal, if this is a playoff game, we're all over Kansas City because Lamar will choke. Week 1, and they're getting the rings, they're a little distracted. So a little edge to Baltimore in 8.5 because it is the first week and the rings. But both teams are very strong defensively. So you kind of like, with both teams being strong defensively, you like the under in the game because you're not getting much. Mahomes is not going to put up 40 on Baltimore, and Baltimore is not putting up 40 on Kansas City. So you're looking at like the playoff game, 17-10, maybe a little different week 1 and getting the rings. I think Baltimore is a live dog here, but I prefer the under over the live dog based on the variables that I just gave you. Green Bay and Philly. So Philly's 1.5, 48.5. Fucking Friday night in Brazil. Talk about getting screwed out of your whole format for the game, right? You get into a routine. Their routines are so screwed up. The only thing is it's week 1, but big deal. Flying to Brazil is not a normal thing in the NFL, just like flying to London or flying to Germany. These are not good things you want to do. It's Friday night. When do you play on a Friday? So it's really tough. We know what we had with Green Bay last year, so we look at them as an over team. They can score. They scored a lot on the Niners and a lot on Dallas, so in the 40s. I think in the 30s on the Niners. It was a high-scoring playoff game. Anyway, so if they can move on then, they'll move on Philly. Philly, new offensive and new defensive coordinator. It's going to take time, especially when you don't play in the preseason. That's what the preseason's for, to get the new coordinators all set. So I think Green Bay's a live dog here. I think it's a live over because we know Green Bay can score. And the question is, Philly, well, I don't know. Hurts was so bad last year. I mean, they were like 7-1, and they finished 7-9. I mean, they made the playoffs. No, they were 10-1, finished 10-8 or something. And then they get blown out by Tampa. Wow. Yeah, Hurts is a good quarterback. Okay. Keep believing that. So your new variable this year is going to be the Green Bay defense. They got a couple of Georgia players. Number 7, my favorite. I think Green Bay's a live dog here, and I think this is a live over. I think Philly will score points on Green Bay at this point. At this point, we can only look at last year's Green Bay team. And in the preseason, we're not getting anything. So we'll see how Green Bay holds Philadelphia. Philadelphia's got the receivers, and they got Saquon Barkley as the running back. Maybe they run the ball more because they realize Hurts can't throw. Even though we got him Brown and we got him Devontae Smith or whatever. Even though we got him those guys, he really still can't throw. So we brought in Barkley because we're going to go to a running team. Who knows? It's possible. I think he'll still throw. And then you look at, if we look at Kellen Moore, he didn't do much at San Diego. At Dallas, he was okay. I don't know how strong he is as an offensive coordinator. I don't know what Philly's getting, but we'll see. But I don't buy that Philly's the favorite in this game. I think Green Bay's the better team. For sure have the better coach. And I think they have the better quarterback, which I wouldn't have said before, but Love did play well the last half of the year in his first year. So look for Green Bay as a very live dog here. Now, we're not going to know the weather in Brazil. Well, we'll know it, but we will see. Fortunately, the NFL is pretty good with weather. Injuries, we'll have to keep an eye on. All right. Atlanta, 2.5, 43 to Pitt. We got a lot of new variables. You got Russell Wilson now at Pittsburgh. The defense should be good. TJ Watt should play. Good running. The receivers are okay, although that one guy who wouldn't block downfield should not be on the team. I don't know. You can't play with a guy like that. I'm not going to block for you. Why would I block for you? So we'll have to look at injuries when we get to that week. Atlanta minus 2.5 with Kirk Cousins, I'm not seeing. I'd be more afraid of Penix started than Cousins. I don't know why everybody's so Kirk Cousins like he's good. The guy had a lucky year 2 years ago with Jefferson, and he had, what did he have, Cook, the Georgia running back for a while, and then he gets to the playoffs and loses to the freaking Giants. And then last year he sucked and then hurts his Achilles. I don't see how Atlanta can blow out this game. So you got 8.5 in a teaser. I don't see how he can possibly win the game by 10 points. I don't see how that's possible. You're looking at a field goal game. Give me the points in that one. Over under, I like a game under. Russell Wilson won't be ready. And then Kirk Cousins, if he couldn't win with Justin Jefferson, what do you think he's going to do with Atlanta's guys? Okay, so maybe they run more by Bijan Robinson. I don't know. But either way, you're not going to run on Pittsburgh. I like Pitt as a dog. I think it's a live dog there. Buffalo 7-48 at home against Arizona. Again, we got to check the injuries. Kyler Murray against Josh Allen. It's a pretty toss-up. Josh Allen's okay. He's well overrated. Kyler Murray's not bad because he has nothing, and he runs around a lot, and then he finds the receiver. In that Philly game last year, near the end, 35-31. So he is a good player, but he's all they got, and they don't have a defense. So I do like Buffalo at home. I also like the over a lot in the game, only being 48. Buffalo scores a lot of points because Josh Allen runs and runs over people, and he will get hurt. But right now, that's not it. And Arizona has no defense. So Buffalo should light up Arizona, but Kyler Murray will score you 20 points. And so we'll be in the 60s, and the over-under is 42. So that's what I got. Greg or John? Not really safe in Russia. Did you see the incident at the church there? No, I haven't. What city was that in? Moscow or St. Pete? Daria lives in St. Pete. And I said to her, I'll come to you. And she was like, no, I'll meet you because I think, we all want to get mad at Daria. Why are we meeting? And it's a fucking war going on. So I try not to get mad at her. I don't think I don't want to meet. I think she does want to meet, and very badly. Um, so I think that's part of it. So I think she's scared for me to come in and then to move. She was scared that the Russians outside of the country, people didn't like Russia's in different countries. And I said, no, nobody will know you're Russian. Just don't talk. I'll talk. You just point on the menu what you want, and I'll order it for you. And then they can get mad at me because I'm an American. I mean, I don't know. I don't worry. I've been on enough trips the last few years during the war with Jenna that I never had a problem. She was wearing a Ukraine T-shirt. Nobody said boo to her. Nobody cares. They're all into their own little world. TK, you like these games? TK, let's hit Russia and have Bobby bring his silver and buy us some things. Well, if you can find Bobby, we'll see. Who you like, Raiders or Chargers? Well, I haven't gotten there yet, so we'll get there. So, again, we're looking at variables right now. So in the Buffalo game, I think it's very high scoring. I'm not sure I trust Buffalo to win with Arizona's offense, but I do think Buffalo should win at home. They're a good home team. But they're lacking. Devon Miller's been injured. We'll see if he plays. All right, Chicago, Tennessee. Chicago 4.5, 43.5. The game's in Chicago. Tennessee, they got no quarterback. This guy sucks. So does Caleb. So you got two teams with no quarterbacks. Both teams have decent defenses, maybe. It's hard because Mike Vrabel's gone. So are you going to get the same tough Tennessee defense? And for Chicago, their coach sucks. So I don't see how Chicago's a 4.5-point favorite, except for the hype on Caleb, who's not very good. He'd be scared if Notre Dame was coming in. He'd be shitting in his pants. He threw 3 interceptions, a fumble, sacked 5 times in the game. Yeah, what you going to do against Tennessee? This is the NFL, fella. So the one lesson I know is you don't bet on a weak favorite. What's a weak favorite, Howard? Good question. Well, a weak favorite basically is a team that you're not quite sure they're going to win. Like Atlanta's a weak favorite. Philadelphia is a weak favorite. KC is not a weak favorite, but Baltimore is a strong underdog. And now you got the Bears, who like Cincinnati. The next game's -9. They're not a weak favorite. They got Burrow and Chase. They're not a weak favorite. They're a strong favorite. The Bears laying points. I don't think they could beat Notre Dame or UCLA. Well, not last year's UCLA. Or Georgia or Missouri. I don't think they could beat. So that's what you have as a weak favorite in the Bears. So I could never bet the Bears here. And then we look pretty good defensive teams over under 43.5. So I think this is a low scoring game. Caleb's not going to do anything. He didn't do anything at USC really. So I don't see him lighting it up with the Bears. Oh, they got RJ Moore and they got Keenan Allen. That should light him up. Yeah, but how is he going to throw it to him? They'll blitz him, and So this is like a 16-13 game actually. His first pro game, he's not going to do much, but neither will Tennessee, and we'll see what they're doing. This is a clearly let's wait and see, but probably an under game. Cincinnati. So your variable is Caleb. How do you put him in a formula? Is he good or bad? Don't know. So right now we got to assume he's bad because of what he did in the big games in college. He didn't show up. That's where we base it now. If he beats Tennessee, is that a big deal? No. Can he beat Green Bay and Dallas and San Francisco, Philadelphia? Can he even beat the Giants? We'll see what they do. Cincinnati -9, 42 to New England. You gotta love Cincinnati. Now, they're a strong favorite. I love that the line's 9. Now I can lay 3. My line's 10, and I thought it might be 14, so it's a bargain. Why the line's so low, I have no idea. As long as Burrow, Chase play, that's it. New England, okay, Jacoby Brissett, hey, he's okay. He's nowhere near Burrow and Mahomes and Herbert and those guys. So I think I think Cincinnati at home wants to get off to a big start. Burrow was hurt. Now he's back, and he wants to prove something. So when a guy like that gets pissed off, you bet on him. You don't mess around with it. New England, new coach, offense and defense both suck. Brissett, I don't know what he's going to do. 2-3 interceptions here. And I don't see New England's defense stopping Burrow once in the game. So it's hard to go over under because you don't know what you're getting from New England. Right? New coach, new quarterback, new defense. Am I going to let up 50 points in this game? Or am I, I'm not the same New England. I don't have Belichick. All right. So we like the Bengals and the revenge for Burrow being healthy now. He's going to murder Baltimore because they gave him the cheap shot that got him out. So look for him to get better. Houston, 2.5, 48.5 at Indy. And again, at Indy is the key. Houston is a road favorite, lost to Carolina last year. I don't get Houston being favored here. Now, is Richardson? Oh, so here are your variables. Is Richardson playing? The fact that Houston's a road favorite. We'll have to see the weather. We'll have to see all the injuries. And so the key is Richardson playing? And then who's the quarterback? And what other injuries are there? If everything's healthy, I like Indy an 8.5. Houston can't be a road favorite. We'll see. And if he doesn't, then we'll have to reassess it. But that's what we're looking at. Greg and John, Philly should be a bit better this year. Okay. Who's your favorite team? I don't really have one. I just bet who I see fit to. Miami 3.5, 48.5. Miami's an over team, no defense. Jacksonville's very weak team. Trevor Lawrence was way overvalued, way over paid. I mean, he's not that good, and they're paying him like he's Joe Burrow. Well, he's not Joe Burrow. See, the NFL, any starting quarterback gets the same amount. They're clearly not the same. Mahomes is up here, and here's Burrow and Herbert, but whatchamacallit, Lawrence is down here with Goff and with Richardson and C.J. Stroud and all these guys. They're down here. Maybe C.J. Stroud and Richardson climb up. They're down here right now. Why is Trevor Lawrence making all this money? He's not good. So I can't trust. So Miami is a pretty good home team. Jacksonville, not that good on the road. Jacksonville, the quarterback is weak. Not a great defense. Miami, great offense, no defense. Jacksonville should score on Miami. Miami should light up Jacksonville. Over under 48.5. So the question is, do you trust Jacksonville in 9.5? Absolutely not. Not in Miami. Do I trust Miami to win? Absolutely not. Not with Tagliabue. But I do trust that they'll score a lot and they'll give up a lot. So that makes me like Miami to score a lot, and Trevor Lawrence will find something. And then the over 42.5, that I think they'll get there. But that's the problem. Go variable that one. How do you variable Trevor Lawrence and Tagliabue? You can't. There's no fucking way you can put them in a math formula and look at ratios or whatever you want to look at and go, oh yeah, I'm gonna take Jacksonville and the points. Looking at it from my point of view, there's no fucking way I'm taking. It's like taking the Bears in 4.5. There's no fucking way I'm taking that. There's no fucking way I'm taking Jacksonville in 9.5. It's purely should be high scoring. We're going to go over, and it's only 48. I think Vegas has lost their mind. This game should be in the 50s. All right. I mean, are you watching Miami at home put up 50 points a game, and you're making it 48.5? Okay. Carolina, New Orleans, 4.5, 40.5. Carolina, the worst team in the league, a Z team. No offense, no quarterback, no defense, no coach. Terrible team. New Orleans is pretty good. Olave, Kamara. Not crazy about Carr, but I don't mind him. He's okay. You got Jake Hagener to put him out there. Defense should be good. At home, they should be good. I think New Orleans wins this game by 14 at least. And over under a 40 is interesting. 40.5. You're not going to get scoring by Carolina in this game. New Orleans does have a good defense. And I don't think New Orleans lights up Carolina. I think this is a 20-10 game. So I do think this will be low scoring or New Orleans. Minnie and the Giants. Anything else? My favorite team? I don't know. Giants -1, 41.5 to Minnesota. Okay, so we've got Minnesota with no quarterback. We've got the Giants with no quarterback. We got great receiver in Jefferson on Minnesota. We have a fairly good defense, fairly good coach, I guess. The Giants, terrible coach, terrible quarterback. They lost Shaquan Barkley, so the one player they had, they lost. And so I don't know what to do with it. I think you just go under on the game. I don't know where you're going to get the points from. Especially right now, you assume it's Daniel Jones against Sam Darnold. I mean, neither are NFL quarterbacks. What is Sam Darnold doing in the league? He sucks at the Jets. He goes somewhere else. He sucks there. I think he went to San Francisco. Didn't even get on the field. So we know he sucked at the Giants, at the Jets. And Minnesota just wants to start him. And they draft J.J. McCarthy after having Kirk Cousins. What are they doing? Their best quarterback was like Tommy Kramer. Tarkington sucked. Kramer was okay. Dante Culpepper was a big runner. Could he pass? You know. But really, Tommy Kramer is where they had the most success, but they've never had a good quarterback. I don't think they know how to draft one. Clearly, Kirk Cousins wasn't even – they traded the Redskins for him. He was like a fifth-round throw-in after they had RG3. I don't think Minnesota knows what they're doing. J.J. McCarthy's terrible. So, can the Giants win this game? Absolutely. Maybe. Who knows? Can Minnie win the game? Maybe. Who knows? The confidence, the percent of confidence I have that of picking the winner of this game is about 0. I have no idea. What do you do when you have pretty good defense and a weak quarterback? Yes, you go under. And that's how I see this game playing out, 13-10. Where are you going to get points from? From Sam Darnold or from Daniel Jones? Like, you're not getting points from either of those guys. The defenses are pretty good. Minnesota's, the Giants, are pretty good defense, so they should hold the score down. All right, Greg, get on your Oakland-San Diego game. Yes, I know. I said J.J. McCarthy's bad. Minnesota, who is the starter? Yes, I just said that, Sam Darnold. I like the guy they finished with last year against the Lions. He threw for 400 yards. Sam Darnold Duck. Don't insult Donald Duck. All right. So Greg John asked me, who do I like? Raiders or Chargers. So let's break that down. San Diego's laying 3.5, 43.5. Oakland has no offense with Gardner Minshew. Really didn't get much better. They did get better with Brock Bowers. Aaron Pierce, new coach. Can he coach? Have no idea. A lot of it is who they played the last 4 or 5 weeks. Also, did they beat Dallas and Philadelphia or Kansas City, or who did Oakland play? But we know Oakland is a good defensive team and a very weak offensive team. But we've got to see the quarterback and Brock Bowers. Minshew and Brock Bowers. How good are they? We know Minshew's not that good. Brock Bowers is a superstar. So this would be very intriguing, but I don't think San Diego can light them up, and I don't think Oakland is going to light up San Diego. San Diego goes to Harbaugh, the Michigan defensive coordinator. They drafted a Michigan player. They already had Bosa and Khalil Mack on the team. They drafted a Michigan linebacker. So their defense is going to be incredible. And then they got rid of all their receivers. Mike Williams, gone. Keenan Allen, gone. You don't draft Brock Bowers. You draft a fucking tackle from Notre Dame with the first pick. Clueless again. Now, yes, Herbert's great, but who's he going to throw to? All right, they got the kid from Georgia, but he's okay. He's the second or third receiver. He's not a first receiver. And you got Kelly, the running back from UCLA, who I like. He ain't gonna do anything against Crosby and Oakland. 3.5. Do we have enough offense on Oakland to win the game? If we don't feel we can win the game, we can't bet the dog. But there's enough trouble. So let's look at it from this way. Do we take San Diego in 2.5? No. We don't trust Harbaugh. Herbert we love, but no, who's he throwing to? And unless he picks up, they drafted a Pukanuka, which the guy from Georgia, McConkey's good, but he's not Pukanuka. So what do you do with, what are we doing? San Diego is going to play run into the line. They're going to play Michigan football. We're going to run in the line and play defense. I can't believe they didn't take Brock Bowers. There's only one Brock Bowers in the draft, right? There's 56 offensive linemen. And believe me, the guy was All-American at Notre Dame, who they drafted. Is he any better than the guy at Ohio State or Michigan, who's very good? I mean, how do they even vote for All-American, right? That's the bullshit, right? That's like the guy's a 5-star. Yeah, because he played in high school against high school guys. He's a 5-star. Really? That's how you're coming up with it? So you can't really measure the competition. So in this, I think I'd like to say Oakland's a live dog because I don't trust Harbaugh in San Diego. But I think the way to play this game is going under 49.5. Oakland plays a lot of low-scoring games. San Diego is going to play Harbaugh. They're going to play run and play defense. So I think just scoring in the game is going to be difficult. I don't see 17 points in the game. So this is a very strong underplay. Seattle and Denver. Seattle 4.5, 42.5. Denver with Bo Nix. Seattle with Geno Smith. Bo Nix is much better. Seattle's got the receivers. Lockett and Metcalf are outstanding. They got great running backs. The kid from Michigan, UCLA, Charbonneau. And you got Charbonneau and you got the kid from Michigan State, Walker. Great offense. Nothing there on defense. You're just not going to outscore it. How good is Denver? Well, Bo Nix, they got the Notre Dame running back who's good. How good's their line? Well, they're pros. It should be okay. How good's their defense? It was getting better after giving up 70 points to Miami. All of a sudden, It got all the way down into the low 20s. If you took the 70-point game out and you said, okay, let's look at the next 6 games, they didn't give up more than 25 points. So I think Seattle, first of all, with all that 12th man shit, is never a good home favorite. They're a very good bet against road favorite. Here's where our home favorite. Here's where I'll look at the trend, but I won't necessarily play Denver because of the trend, right? Do I think Denver can win? Yes. Do I think Seattle can win? Maybe. Seattle at home is not a good home favorite. Now you got new coach. Coach Pete's gone. You got, I think it's a Washington offensive coordinator is now the head coach. Has he ever coached before? He didn't even coach Washington. I don't know how you can get rid of Coach Pete. That was a huge mistake. Their defense will be weak. I think Bo Nix will have a good game. I think struggle in the first quarter, and then once he starts completing passes, I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Payton gave him a quick little screen pass or hit the running back out of the backfield to get him confidence and get him going. I think Denver scores. I think Seattle scores. Over under 42.5. What are they thinking? Bo Nix is that bad? Did you watch the Oregon games? I don't think Bo Nix is bad at all. Anybody that thinks he's bad, clearly you didn't watch one of the Oregon games. So I like Bo Nix. I think they can score on Seattle's weak defense. I think Seattle can score a little on Denver. We don't know how strong. So we know Seattle's a weak defense. We don't really know Denver. They were coming on. We love Sean Payton. Let's see what happens. I think Denver is a live dog in this game. I got over 42.5 again because Seattle's got all that offensive firepower and no defense, which leads to an over. And okay, Mr. Forecaster, how do you forecast? Not me, whoever that idiot was, the Madoff guy. How do you forecast Bo Nix? How do you forecast Daniels? Well, we're getting to Daniels coming up. How do you forecast Daniels? You don't know anything about him except for college. How do you forecast him? See, this is the point of running. You can't run those type of trend analysis. You can only trend, Seattle's a good road dog. The Rams are a good road dog. That's all you can trend. You can't fucking trend Bo Nix. I think he'll do very well. But that's my eye. That's watching him. That's what I do better than anybody. Spotting talent. Can this kid play or not? That's why I give Oogly Boogly a hard time. He's one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. He's terrible. He can't spot a blitz. If Florida State wants him to run, that's their only chance. But if he goes back to pass, it's 50-50 which team he throws it to. And again, it gets down to if he couldn't do well at Clemson, what the hell is he going to do at Florida State? And they've lost half their team because they graduated. So they have a very good defense, Florida State. I'll give them that. Anyway, so how do you variable that? You got to look at it, and I see Bo Nix. Now, it's not Oregon, but Bo Nix scores. He sees open receivers. He reads a blitz. He can run. And he's facing Seattle. So I think this is definitely a high-scoring game. Dallas, Cleveland. Cleveland's now minus 144. Dallas, Dak Prescott. It's terrible. Cleveland, we don't even know who the quarterback is. Is it Thompson Robinson from UCLA? I hope so. Is it Deshaun Watson, who was good the first few years at Houston, and then he was gone. He sits out for 2 years. He's way overpaid. What are you thinking here, guy? 5:30. It's a little late for Daria, but hopefully it's her. No, it's my friend Andre. Okay. See, maybe my friend Andre, he's from Alabama. and we just kind of leave each other messages. Instead of being on the phone, I'll go, say whatever, and then he'll respond. So anyway, so where am I? So Cleveland, a killer defense. Dallas, a killer. The best player in the field is Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons. So you got two excellent defensive players, good cornerbacks for Dallas, good linebackers for Dallas. Cleveland, Myles Garrett, and they're just loaded on defense. You don't score a lot on them. So, with that said, this is a under game. Again, I don't know. Dak Prescott's not going to do anything. CD Lamb, maybe. And I don't even know who my quarterback is at Cleveland. If it's Deshaun Watson, I like the under even more because he's not going to do anything. You can't sit out for 2 years and then say, "Oh, okay, I sat out for 2 years. Now I'll play." It doesn't work like that. So I like the under here. I like Cleveland as the home dog. My line, and this is why I make my line, this is what I think's going to happen, not how to make the betting even. My line's Cleveland -7. I think Cleveland's gonna kill them. I don't think Dallas is any good. I don't like McCarthy, and I don't like Prescott. No, it's not. It's just I see Prescott in these big games. He doesn't show up. I mean, he didn't show up against the Lions. This is the 2-point conversion game. The playoffs, Green Bay kills him. Doesn't show up there. And their defense really didn't show up. So we'll see what that has to offer. But Cleveland at home, strong team. But if we go under, then you're factoring in Dak's 2 or 3 interceptions and Deshaun Watson. If it's Thompson Robinson, he's not ready to put up a lot here. I think Dallas realizes they've got a bad quarterback. They brought Emmitt Smith. They brought in Ezekiel Elliott back. I don't know. They got to run the ball more. You can't rely on Dak Prescott. So I think this is an under, but I think you have two excellent defenses, sort of like the Baltimore KC game where you're not going to get a lot of points. Washington, Tampa. Washington, terrible coach. We'll see about Daniels if he even plays. Is he going to start? Or maybe he won't. Maybe they'll go, well, he's not ready. He's great talent from what I hear and what I see at LSU. He was great. Tampa Bay, Mayfield. I like Baker. He was the best quarterback in that draft, but he's nothing. He's no, Joe Burrow. Come on, or no Mahomes. Mike Evans. They got a decent defense, I believe. Washington has no. They got rid of all their stars who weren't very good anyway. So this is going to be tough. I don't have the confidence to take Washington 10.5. I don't have the confidence to take Tampa to win the game. Neither team instills me they can win. Even the fact it's at Tampa, maybe they can win, but would you be surprised if Washington wins 30-27? Would it surprise you? And Daniels goes for 4 touchdowns. Would that surprise you? Not at all. We saw what he can do at LSU. We saw him against Alabama. He lit them fucking up, and he lit up Georgia. So I'm not buying he can't play. Over under 41.5. And this is really where you're at. What type of team? We know Tampa's not going to score a lot. They have a terrible coach. Washington, probably a terrible coach. So we don't really know what to do with this game. We don't have there's nothing you can really look at. There's no trends. You're not taking Washington as a road dog. Tampa's a home favorite. Maybe Tampa in the Heat, but we don't know what Washington's got. So there's too many question marks of we don't know what type of team we have. Mahomes, we know. Great defense in Mahomes. Okay. Who do we got here? Washington. We don't know anything. We have no idea their offense, their defense, and Daniels. And Tampa, we got Baker, who's okay. Mike Evans, I think, is back. The defense, Larry David, and then the cornerback from Minnesota. So they have some players, but they're, you're not betting on Tampa to win. Hell, they couldn't beat the Lions last year. Speaking of the Devils, Detroit 3.5, 51 against the Rams. Detroit's an over team. They score a lot with no defense. It's sort of a trick offense. It's sort of like they come out and they get some points, like in all the playoff games, right? I mean, against the Niners, they're up 24-7. And with a minute left in the game, they still have 24. Oh, by the way, the Niners got to 34. It's 34-24. You haven't scored in the second half. What is that? You light them up for 24, and you don't score in the second half. And you did it against the Rams in the first playoff game. I think you got 24 at the first half. It ended with 27. And I guess Aaron Donald woke up. And then against Tampa, you jumped out to 21 or something, and you ended up with 24. Where do you go in the second half? I mean, this is the problem with the Lions. Can you trust the Lions to beat the Rams? Stafford, Pukanuka, the other receiver, I can't remember. Aaron Donald's retired, but they drafted heavily defensively good players. And if they do anything like Pukanuka, you know they have the better coach, and you know they have the better quarterback. Good running back. So Detroit might do some helter-skelter plays and get some points, but you know it won't last, right? McVay will figure out what they're doing, both offensively and defensively, and they're not going to stop Stafford in the second half like they did last year. Can the Rams win the game? Absolutely. Can the Lions win the game? I'm not sure they can. I don't think they can stop Pukanuka. They haven't changed their defensive coordinator. That's your big problem. Look who didn't. Look who changed it. Oh, yeah. Georgia changed their defensive coordinator because they gave up 16 points a game, and he didn't come after Milrose, and he cost them the playoff, the third consecutive title. Who else changed? Oh, San Francisco. They didn't let up a lot of points, but their defensive coordinator didn't blitz Mahomes in the second half, and they lost the Super Bowl because their defensive coordinator didn't blitz. The Lions, meanwhile, they gave up 30 points a game. They gave up 5 200-yard receiving games to CeeDee Lamb and Jefferson twice and Mike Evans twice. Are you kidding me? Or Mike Evans, and I think there was one other in there. So you're giving up 200 yards and you keep the defensive coordinator. And your answer is, well, we drafted another kid from Alabama who's useless and some other thing. Why do you think Alabama is a good place to get defensive players? It's not. You want defensive players? There's a college called Georgia and one called LSU right next to it in the SEC. Or you maybe could have went to Iowa, or you maybe could have went to Oregon. Yeah, but you went to Alabama for some reason. You drafted a guy from Alabama last year. You had 4 guys get 200 yards a game on him. He didn't show up. So I'm not really sure what the GM's doing. They want to give him credit for something. Let's see. We had a terrible team because we were run by Matt Patricia and some other idiot from New England. And we won 2 games in like 3 years, and we fire the guy. So any guy, and so this guy comes in, makes any draft, the guy's going to make the team, make them look good, but are they that good? Did they beat out anybody? No, you let the whole team go. You let Darius Slay go, and you let the other guy go that were all pros. So what the fuck are you talking about? So, and then you go sign a right tackle, the big contract. Yeah, that was a great move. Okay, so you're totally not understanding anything. And then you sign your quarterback to $55 million, who's second stringer. Yeah. The Rams thought so much of him, they gave him to Detroit. You want to call McVay an idiot? You don't know talent? Come on, man. So I don't see that Detroit can win this game. I think the Rams win it 34-30. I think they'll light up Pukanuka and the other guy who I can't remember, the other great receiver, Cook, I think. Um, so with those two, who are the Lions going to, and they're going to play the soft zone, and Stafford's going to throw in front of it all day and march up and down the field. They probably won't punt. They got good running for inside the 20. They got a good pass rush and a good defense. I don't see how the Lions win this game. Over under 51 is a joke that probably gets, like, halftime last year was like 24-21 or something. And I see that's probably your halftime score, 20, maybe 27-20, the Rams. I see definitely a big, because the defense is going to be tired. They haven't played. The Rams are smart enough to get their timing down. I don't know if the Lions are that smart, because they don't want to play anybody in preseason. They might get hurt. And this is football. We don't want anybody getting hurt in football. It's about as stupid as the 100 pitch count in baseball. Well, we don't want the pitchers getting hurt. Oh, yeah, no, Nolan Ryan pitched 200 pitches in one game, and he never got hurt. Yeah, but, we got to baby these guys, 100 pitches. Okay, so like the Rams, like the over in the game. Definitely be high scoring. I don't see, really, just fundamentally looking at the game, how are they going to stop Stafford? With whom? And I'll take Sean McVay to come up with plays all day over the Lions, Matt Campbell. And our last game, the Monday night, is Fisco 5.5, 45.5 to the Jets's with Aaron Rodgers. We hope he makes it more than one series. The Niners laying 5. Interesting. Now, new defensive coordinator. They were smart. They knew the guy sucked. That's the problem. The one guy went to coach the Jets, and the other guy went to coach Houston, and this guy just went. But you can't keep getting good defensive coordinators. Like I said, they got lucky with Sura, or Shaley for the Jets, right? He was good. I like that guy. He's a good coach. He's like you want to play for him. The guy on Nico Collins, I think, or whoever on Houston, I don't know if he knows what he's doing. Houston certainly wasn't a good defensive team last year. And we'll see how they are this year. But last year's 49er coordinator sucked. Can the Jets win this game? I believe with Aaron Rodgers and that defense, they could. Can they stop McCaffrey? I think Shala will be able to stop him. He knows the 49er defense, being their coach. Then you've got Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. You finally have a good quarterback, Jets's. With that said, I think this is a low-scoring game. Aaron Rodgers is not a high-scoring. He milks the clock forever, right? So I just see that being part of it. Brock Purdy's okay. Christian McCaffrey, we love him. Deebo Samuel, absolutely good. George Kittle. I mean, they're loaded, the Niners, and they added I didn't get the receiver from Florida at all. Like, really? He was like number 30th when I looked at like top receivers from last year in college by like either yards or catches. He was in the middle of the pack. He wasn't up there. He had some guys out of LSU. Maybe I would have taken. I don't know. There's a lot of better. SMU had some guys. UTSA, Florida, really. These guys don't get it. When UTSA runs this really good offense, North Texas or Tulane, and they run these really good offenses, imaginative grab their players. James Madison, I think, is a very good offensive team, I think. Grab their receivers, man. Those guys know how to get open and score points. That's what you want. That's why I'm against taking defensive players from Alabama. Again, Herndon Hecker put up 50 points on fucking Alabama, and the Lions don't want to acknowledge it. It's insane. Well, if Goff was so good, the Rams wouldn't have let him go for nothing. They wouldn't have traded for Stafford if Goff was better. So, Goff is not that good. He might be good in this offense because it's a new offense. and wait till somebody lays out St. Thomas, and then the running back Montgomery gets hurt, and the other guy fumbles, the Alabama guy. Just wait till all that happens. Then you're going to say, oh, yeah, Goff isn't that good. We should have had Herndon Hooker going. And then I hear, people knocking Hooker. He put up 50 on Alabama, and you keep drafting defense players from Alabama, right? You just drafted a cornerback last year and a cornerback the year before, and Hooker burned them for 50 points. But you love the cornerbacks? Doesn't make any sense. So that's my point. Back to the game. I think the Jets can win with Rodgers. I think. Oh yeah, I was talking about defensive coordinators. Another new defensive coordinator for the Niners. We'll have to see. They got great talent. There's no question. I think this turns into a low-scoring game. Over under a 45.5 is shocking. I think that goes way under. And do I have enough balls to take the Jets in 11.5 against the Niners? I'm not sure. But that's the bailout that I don't get in baseball. The bailout in baseball is I go over and under, right? I'm looking for the team, Baltimore, Philadelphia. Then you get to the Tigers, which you can't count on them to win, so you go over under. And that's what I do in football. It's hard to take the Jets here, although they certainly can play with them, with Aaron Rodgers. You got to stop McCaffrey, which I'm sure the Jets can do. But I think, at the end of the day, two strong defenses you go under. Week one, they're going to be tired. Will Rodgers have the timing with his receivers? Well, he could. Most of them are Green Bay guys anyway. And then the Niners, will they be enough to, are they going to score enough and play the defense? So that's what you have. So I think under in that game. So again, the post was variables, right? So here's the picks, and then look at the variables. So in the Cleveland game, it's the quarterback, right? Who's going to be Cleveland's quarterback? But at the end of the day, you can't variable any of this shit. It's it's like baseball. It's averages. Here, is Baltimore a good road dog? Is the only variable I could make out of that. And how much will KC have their head in the game, getting their rings for the second year in a row, right? Green Bay, Philly, you can't variable it. You don't have enough information. You got two new coordinators for Philly, but you can then go to the trend and go, well, fuck, just looking at my eyes, watching Green Bay light up Frisco and light up Dallas, fuck it. Philadelphia ain't going to stop them. I don't care what the coach does. If Dallas if Dallas and Frisco couldn't slow down, Green Bay, and they were blitzing them, what's Philadelphia going to do? So again, Pitt, Atlanta, the variables, you got Russell Wilson. He was good at Seattle, running around, and then I don't know what happened to Denver. He wasn't bad at Denver. He was lighting it up. He was running for yards. He was starting to score. I don't know what happened to him there, but he's a good quarterback, and Atlanta doesn't have one in Cousins. So how's Cousins going to adjust? How do you figure that variable out? So the variables are very difficult. And if you're going to try to forecast the game with a linear formula, I can only say you're out of your fucking mind. I know people that try, and I just laugh at them. You can't, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to be realistic. You cannot do it. How do you put all the variables in, and how do you measure the variables? How do you grade the variables? How many points are you giving Pittsburgh for Russell Wilson in your formula? Anybody who tries to do the economy in a linear formula is out of their fucking minds, because there's 100 times more variables in that than there are in football. You got to know inflation, interest rates, the market, the competition, the other countries. Good fucking luck. All you need to know is if there is inflation, which there always is when you have a currency that's not gold backed, You're going to have a stock market crash. You're going to have a recession, depression, and you're not necessarily going to have war. I mean, we're not in a war now. We just want the natural resources from the Ukraine. I think what we want is the farmland. It's so rich in all the wheat and everything. I think that's the real point of the war. And then there's a lot of minerals there. I think that's why we won't leave, because that's what we want. And Putin's protecting. A lot of oil is in those regions, the Donetsk region and the Crimea, Black Sea area, Odessa. They're probably all rich in oil. And that's why they want those cities. They're not Russian. They're fucking oil rich. That's why. So again, it's a war about oil or gold or whatever, which is the way every war is, and that's why they won't end it, because the U.S. wants the oil, and this is the only thing that really makes sense. That's why we're not ending it. We want the oil. We're going to keep fighting to try to get the oil. We don't want Putin to have it. Bottom line. But nobody's going to tell you that but the professor. So that, my friends, is football and baseball. We can go through baseball, just the picks. We got Pitt under 8, 3 units. The Mets, 3 units. The Yanks, 3 units. Toronto over 8.5, 5 units. Atlanta, 5 units. Milwaukee over 11.5, 3 units in Colorado. Baltimore, 3 units. The Dodgers over 9, 5 units. That be your baseball. We've been red hot in baseball. We talked college football yesterday. I'm not going to talk it again. I have finished my magazine for my spreadsheet. I'm going to start I'm going to look at the spreadsheet and start filling it in to my sheet here to try to get that. I will update all the passwords in teaserking.com and make sure the prices are set. So right now you can't do it because I don't have you'd get an old password, so I'd have to do that. Plus I got to make sure the prices are good. And then I got to decide. I think I might do this. You got to pay for to get picks. So I would say pay $25, and then we'll go through the NFL. And I'll do what I did, and then I'll throw in the picks. But I know you guys want what's the lock, Professor? Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry. Those aren't free. Those are the locks, and I do about 80% on them, so you're not getting them. But I might have a class where you pay the $25 and you get it in the class, or the website. If you don't have time for the class, you go to the website and just buy the picks like you've been doing. So I think I'll add that to it. And that's about it. Anything else? It's 2 hours. Bricks, again, I expect Bricks to go. I expect Bricks go back September, October. They're adding new members. The gold back currency, I do expect Comex to break. I expect the 4th and the 5th to jump really high, because if we understand the price fixing, the derivative, there's Eddie Murphy. So as the price goes up, Eddie then I'm going to go short. I'm going to sell and buy when it goes down. But he's not there Thursday and Friday, so the price goes up. Well, there's nobody to do the short, so I think it just goes up and up and up for 2 days. And I wouldn't be surprised if something happens over this weekend. I don't know if Biden's going to run or not. Maybe he does. I'm not sure if banks are going out because it's the second quarter, and I don't know timing wise. Does that mean something you got to be paid up by the second quarter? But anytime you end the quarter, there's a lot of risk. Things have to be done. Things that aren't done during the quarter are done at the quarter. So we will see. But that's really where I'm looking. So I see Bricks or Comex to go up. The gold part of Comex will collapse because you're going to need the gold to keep doing the derivatives. That's the rule. But in silver, wait a little bit, because it's not going to go. the legal thing in gold and silver are not the same. In other words, you don't have to have physical silver to pay silver price fixing. So with that being said, don't expect the silver price to be reacting the way the gold. So the gold's going to go up and up and up because it's not being pushed down soon. But silver is still a little bit away because you can still fuck around and mate off it, Comex, with the silver price. So we will see. Greg and John, let's have some fun. The Raiders beat KC one day. I don't know how last year. Well, because of their defense. 17-7, I believe. Oakland is going to win, TK. Well, eventually they'll win next year. I'm not sure they're going to beat San Diego, but maybe. Sounds good, TK. Maybe Santa can buy me gold. Oh, cut it out, Greg and John. You got enough money to buy 1/10 of an ounce. This is a 1/10 of an ounce gold. This is $260. Don't tell me you don't have $260 to buy this. This is 1/10 of an ounce. When gold hits 20,000, this then hits 1/10 or 2,000. So you can buy a $2,000 1/10 of an ounce for $260. So you have no excuse not to buy that coin. So buy it. That's an order. But that's what you have to do because you're going to make 10 times on it at least. And the other problem is if you don't buy it, you're going to be okay. And this is what I told the guy at the Toyota dealership, the salesman. My guy wasn't there, he was on vacation. I says, the first thing is you're getting out of this. This is the most important. You're getting out of this because this is collapsing. Oh, it's the reserve currency. No, it isn't. The petrodollar is gone. Saudi Arabia has not signed the petrodollar. It is no longer the petrodollar. Anybody who wants can buy gold, can buy oil in their currency. I don't know what it's going to be based on. The FX rate, I don't know, but eventually they're going to want gold for their oil. And nobody wants the dollar. They're all getting out. Everybody's joining BRICS because they want to be in gold. I would want to be in gold. If I was a country, I'd be in BRICS too. That's the point. And I'd hire a lot of Russian security in case the CIA tried to take me out for not going on the dollar. But that's the thing. Out of the dollar, well, no, I only sneeze when you're on, Greg and John. I don't have allergies. I don't know. Maybe there's dust on the computer. It's not like I dust it every day. I was thinking about that earlier. I go, I really got to dust my car and my house. I mean, this is it's not something. I'm at the pool. I'm here. I'm eating dinner. I'm out to the lake. I don't really sit and clean the house. Well, I do laundry, but I don't really dust everything and vacuum like I should. So that could be just dirt that I'm sneezing at. Why do you act surprised we're out of the dollar? I teach it every day. Do you not listen when I teach, or do you just come for the baseball picks and leave? But yeah, the dollar. So petrodollar is gone. The petrodollar was if you wanted oil from Saudi Arabia, you had to use dollars to pay for it. Bottom line. Now you don't. Now they said, China, you want to pay me in yuan? Fine. Russia, rubles, fine. The Euro countries can use the Euro. Swiss, you want to use Swiss francs? Fine. How much it costs is confusing because it's based on the dollar FX. What is the price of the Swiss franc to buy Saudi oil? This is a tough question. I don't know. Do you really want to use the US dollar as the catalyst to figure out? Hell no. US dollar isn't worth anything. You've printed 21 trillion here and 130 trillion for the oil. That's $150 trillion. The dollar, the more you print, the less it's worth. So you figure that out, right? I hate hearing when guys don't understand it and they go, well, it's really not a print issue, it's a trust issue. No, it's a print issue. That's what kills the trust, Chuckles. If I didn't print, I would trust the dollar. I wouldn't back away from the dollar if you didn't print it, or if it's backed by gold, I certainly would trust it because I would trust the gold. So the dollar is going out because you printed too much, and nobody trusts that the dollar has a value. But it's the printing that made you not trust the dollar. Yes, it is a trust. It's a faith of the Federal Reserve because these are IOUs, right? So this is an IOU that says if you want to buy a train ticket in France, we will pay it. So you pay this for the ticket, and the people go to the bank, and they get euro for it, and then the euro comes back, and the U.S. has to accept the dollar and pay for it. So as long as everybody trusts that the dollar has a value, it's fine. As soon as that you printed it to death, and people start going, I don't think the dollar's worth anything, then it isn't. And that's really the problem. You printed it. I don't trust it. I don't want it. And that's what all the BRICS people are doing. That's the whole point of the BRICS. And that's why you go to a gold-backed currency, because you need to you can't fuck around with this. You're not printing this. This is the pretty one that Bobby likes. This is the Philharmonic. You can't print this. This comes out of the ground and gets minted by Austria. You can't print 100 of these. You can only take what's in the ground. That's why this keeps the value. That's why you want this. A, this is money, and B, it'll never be printed where you lose the trust in it, right? So if you lose the trust in the dollar because you printed too much, you're going to lose the trust in gold? No, because you can't print it. Once you realize you can't print it and it can't lose its value, you trust it. So that's my whole point. That's what you trust because you can't print it to death. So that's really my point with it, and that gets back to the variables that the class is talking about. So the variables in the dollar are: it isn't backed by gold, it's printed to death. All of them are. All of them have always been. The French, the Spanish, the English, the Romans have all printed their dollars to death, or in the Romans' case, they took all the gold and silver out of. So imagine this being a Roman coin, and it's gold, and then next thing you know, 6 months later, why does it look different? Oh, there's no gold in the gold currency. So they debased it, and that's, again, takes the trust out of it. People have to trust it. That's why trust is such a big thing. That's why you can't lie. That's why I hate liars, because liars I can't trust. And that's the only rule I have with the girls. Don't lie to me. I got to be able to trust you. Don't lie to me. And that's why, because you must have the trust. So keep that in mind. The dollar, it's because it is printed that you don't trust it, right? Otherwise, why don't you trust it? And don't tell me gold goes up because of the war. Gold doesn't go up because Comex price fixes it. Once we get to a physical price for gold, and gold then can run free market like the Mantle card, then we're fine. Once you get the free market Mantle card thing, Mantle card $60,000 and gold's $2,300, and you want me to believe that? Okay, yeah, no price fixing there. I mean, that's the point. So that's the trust that we talk about. It's everything's, action, reaction. Action, you print too much. Reaction, you don't trust it. Action, the boat hits the iceberg. reaction, the water runs in and sinks and the boat sinks. The water runs in, the boat sinks, you hit the lifeboat. So the first thing you do, you hit the iceberg, get to the lifeboat. And that's really it. So that's what the lifeboat is in this case. You printed the dollars to death. Well, what's going to happen? You're going to lose purchasing power, meaning the value of the dollar is worth 1 cent. And it hasn't lost 96%, it's lost 100%. What's the difference between 99% and 100%? Oh no, it's only lost 99. Bullshit. That's why everybody's running to bricks, because they know it's basically worthless. I know it's worthless. I don't want it. So put it this way, the trust is probably coming this month. Let's say I get a nice check. I don't trust the dollar. I'm going to get the check, cash it, and as soon as I can, I'm going to turn it into gold. That's how much I trust the dollar. I'm literally petrified if I get a nice chunk of change to leave it in the bank and to leave it in dollars. So one thing Alligator did say is that the government won't want the banks to fail. However, in America, what are they going to do? You got $150 trillion in dollars. Well, you're going to print another couple $1 trillion to save the banks? Really? With what? Toilet paper? I mean, I don't know. What'll happen is, I think after the election, they'll have to come out with new dollars. I'd be shocked if they didn't already have a new U.S. dollar. We're praying it's backed by gold, but if it isn't, it'll be USD number 2. It'll look a lot like this, and guess what? If it ain't backed by gold, it's worthless. Never forget that. TK, Donald Trump is going to make America great again, he says. Who are you going to see the fireworks? Who you going to see the fireworks? I don't understand your question. That should be great. Yeah, I enjoy the fireworks. I think that's a tradition. July 4th, you should see the fireworks. Even if you run to Target and get the little sparklers and the little fireworks and light them up in your driveway, I do think it's a special occasion that you need to see some fireworks. Anyway, again, Greg and John going off script. Donald Trump's going to make, Donald Trump can't make America great. The only way Donald Trump can make America great is if he goes to gold-backed currency to save. See, once you lose your money, you've lost the country. Everybody talks like we'll be fine, and it's like, no, the dollar's worthless. You don't get it. Now, I know Germany, they had that hyperinflation in the 20s, and then they switched currencies from the Deutschmark to the Reichsmark, or the other way around. And all it did was lead to Hitler getting into power, and he stole billions of dollars of gold. And he had them there was like a mine underneath the railroad or something. They showed it in the Monuments Men, and they opened the door and it was full of gold. That's what World War II is about. You don't think it's about money? It's always about money. He wanted oil from the Russians. That's why he invaded them. And he invaded all these cities to steal their gold, right? And that's what he did. And he had all this gold in the little mine under the railroad. And but I don't know what the Deutschmark did. I don't know how they got out of it in 1923. They had the hyperinflation, switched, and I guess that settled it down by switching currencies. So I can see there will be a U.S. dollar number 2. I hope it's backed by gold. As far as the digital currency, they can't make you take it. And I don't know how they're going to do it, because you've got the central bank. We don't go to a central bank. We go to the bank. We go to Chase and Wells Fargo. The central bank goes to Chase and Wells Fargo. That's who they help. And then Chase and Wells Fargo help us. There's no way that the central bank can possibly, you're going to have 350 million accounts. Yeah, let's see how that works. The banks don't want to lose the money because that's what the banks are. I heard that idiot yesterday say, well, what they're trying to do is get the babysitters who don't pay tax on their $20, babysitting. And I'm like, they're going after nickels instead of dollars. That's why they want CBDCs. So you have to pay the babysitter in digital currency. So she has to pay tax on it. Yeah, it's not going to go over too well. So people will still bypass using dollars. I don't see how you can get rid of dollars because that's the whole point of the system. Then they say there'll be a new financial system. No, there won't be a new fund. You can't have a new system. You've got the perfect system. It's a medium of exchange. I go to work, you pay me. I go take that money and pay my bills and go get food and buy gold and silver with it. So you need a medium of exchange. You can't get rid of it. What are they talking about? We're going to get rid of banks. And for what? Oh, it'll all be digital. Yeah, I'm sure that'll work until Russia hacks us and there goes our internet. And then what do we do? So anyway, that's the point. So look for that to be definitely an issue, but it'll be like Bitcoin, I assume. You don't have to take Bitcoin. That's your option. And these companies that like Kroger's, we don't take cash. Yeah, you do. It's just you're taking credit card and debit card cash, not paper cash. So I don't know what they're talking about. Like, oh, we won't have dollars anymore. What are you going to do with them? So you're going to print what? I mean, you'll print the digital, but see, it's not digital, it's electric. You go to Kroger's and you use your credit card or your debit card to pay. Okay, I'm not using cash, but I'm using the debit and credit card. So it's still how is that different than a CBDC where they're tracking you? There is no difference. They just want you to use digital and not paper so they can track every transaction. But you can track 99% of them now, right? I go get groceries. I go get food. The only time is when I use cash, which is at the gold store. If I had a babysitter, if I was in Amsterdam, you're going to put all the girls on the red light district. They're going to be in trouble. What are they going to? How are you going to pay them? We don't have cash. We got to use digital. I don't want fucking digital. I don't. That's not going to happen. So I just don't see that happening too much. But gold's the way out because you can't print it and it's highly demanded. Again, money is the most demanded thing, is money. So I think that's about it. I don't know how I got on that tangent, but I always enjoy that tangent. So keep that in mind. Oh yeah, I was on trust. So the dollar, because you print it to death, there goes the trust. So when a guy says, oh, it's not the printing, it's the trust. Well, why would I not trust it? Oh, because you printed 150 trillion. Oh, that's why I don't trust it. And your bonds are really high and your interest rates and your inflation's really high. And we know inflation is printing the dollar. So therefore, that's why they try to talk you out of inflation being prices and not printing the dollar. If it's printing the dollar, then you blame the government why you're printing so much. And then you realize the value of the dollar goes down because you printed it, which is the inflation. They raise it. They call it prices. And you're like, well, wait a minute. The prices going up is not inflation. That's the cause that's the effect of the dollar being printed. So if you understand that, you don't buy the bullshit they're selling. Oh no, it's the prices. No. It's the dollars being printed. TK, you ever take the bus? What the fuck kind of question is that, Greg and John? The only time I would take a bus is probably in Switzerland. I would take a tram. because I don't know where I'm going. So I get on the number 3 and take it downtown and get back to the hotel on the number 3. That's the closest I come to taking a bus. I have a car. In Detroit, you're driving everywhere. There isn't even taxis. So yeah, and then like when I'm in, well, either the girls, if we go to Serbia or if I go to Greece, we'll Uber a lot. Like we'll Uber to the restaurant. We did that in Germany and Barcelona. So we don't get on buses. We take the Uber. We wouldn't know. We can probably read the signs. How am I going to read German or Spanish? We wouldn't know what to get off, and we got to make sure we got the right bus. If I Uber, I can type in the address and say, take me here. And they drive you, and you don't worry about, you know what the rate is, and you know you're going to get there. So that's, why do I want to stress on a bus going, well, wait, I can't read Spanish. Am I at the beach yet? So that's as close as I come to a bus is a tram in Switzerland. Thank you, Greg and John. I try to do. I understand it's a class. I understand. I know things that most people don't, and I try to share that with you. But see, like the problem I get with Mark McGuire and Alligator and some of these other guys, they Rickards and Rick Rude and everybody, they don't explain what they're saying. They talk very quick and throw in high level words that nobody fucking understands. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to us, or are you just trying to say something and you say, some, hyperinflation? I know what it is, but you might not. So I explain it to you. Well, hyperinflation is this, the fear of the inflation. But that's how I'm going to explain it to you. I'm not going to just say hyperinflation and not say what it is. And that's what these guys do. They don't explain. So you're looking like, this guy's an idiot. He's saying words that don't mean anything. That's like when Sheckman tries to say Say's Law, but what is it? I don't know, but it's something I heard from the professor. So I'm going to say Say's Law. I mean, that shows you don't know what you're talking about. So I try to make sure you get what I'm telling you, because otherwise, why am I here, right? There's no point in me teaching if you're not going to understand it. Now, Greg John, sounds like you don't listen or you don't learn enough when some of these questions you're asking, but that's okay. You don't have to call me sir, call me professor, but that's why I do it, right? So, and that's why I think that's why Alligator says he does it to teach, but he does a terrible job at it. And I think Mark McGuire is the same way. They're trying to teach, but Mark McGuire, in the casino in the fenced-in area, and what the fuck are you talking about, Mark? I mean, it just makes very little sense what he's trying to teach. I mean, they're not good teachers. Most of them are stockbrokers or bankers that have no idea how to teach. I learned because I was teaching my daughter's softball teams. And to get the girl to understand what I was saying, I had to make sure that the light was on in the eyes. Like if I'm telling her, and she acts like she doesn't know what I just said, I gotta reteach it. That didn't work. Let's try a different method. So I learned how to teach by teaching my daughter's teams. Here's how you hit. Look at the ball, not the bat. And they'd start hitting. I go, okay, they got it, or how to catch or how to throw. And it's hard, but they're pretty anxious to learn if they're playing. Question is, are they coordinated or not? My two daughters, my first one's very coordinated. I didn't have to teach her how to catch. I didn't have to teach her how to throw. I didn't have to teach her how to hit. My younger one was uncoordinated. She could catch. Her throwing was erratic. Her hitting was weak. We fixed her hitting. And then I taught her how to pitch with, fast pitch. She could actually do that, but the first game she pitches strike, and this girl lines it back to her. She doesn't catch it. It hits her chest. I'm like, Haley, like, what do you know? The ball could come back to you. You've got to be ready to field it, just like you're playing second base or right field. You've got to catch the ball, and she just wouldn't. She didn't. She couldn't put two and two together to say, oh, she's focused so much on throwing. And the pitch was a nice pitch. It was a fast pitch. It was a strike. She could pitch, but she didn't realize, oh, wait, they can hit it. And then I got to field it. She didn't understand that. And that's not really what you're thinking of teaching them. You're thinking of teaching them how to pitch. So I showed her how to pitch. It's hard. You got to open your shoulders and you turn, and then you close your shoulders and you snap. We're not used to it. It's a female can do it. The males, I'm used to playing hardball and this, not underneath. So pitching was very. It took me a month or two to learn it, but it was worth it because I enjoy fast pitching. Bobby left. I think his family said no to gold. They thought he was crazy. Well, they did say no to gold, but he didn't care. He bought the gold and silver. And his daughter kept asking him, how can I take gold to the grocery store? I brought that up today at Toyota, and I says, well, the answer is you go to your daughter or your family and go, well, I can't take this to the grocery store anymore. This is worthless. What would you like me to take? And that's the part they're not getting. You pay for the groceries with this now, but when this goes to zero, then you're going to be mighty happy that you have this. I've got this to pay for the groceries. I cash it in and get whatever the money. There'll be money. There's always money. Even after the Nazis, the Germans had the hyperinflation, they then went to the new currency, and the Romans, I don't know what they did. But you see France and England, they're all on the euro now because these idiots couldn't be trusted. Anyway, you got a lot of corruption and you got a lot of money printing. That's the problem with money. You have to back it by gold because otherwise, eventually, there's some crook who prints the hell out of it and doesn't understand that something's going to happen. Like the MMT guys, well, you can print as much as you want. We're the world's reserve currency. No, you can't. When you print too much, it's worthless. That's why it's lost 99 to 100% of its value. That's why it's worth nothing. That's why it takes you $5 to buy Fritos at the grocery store that used to cost you 59 cents. That's my thing, right? Pepsi was a dime in 1971. It's $2.60 today. Well, they didn't raise their prices. That's how much the dollar lost value. To take a 10-cent item that now costs you $2.60. That's the problem because you printed. So you can't just keep printing. You'll need $100 to buy the Coke. And that's when we're done. That's when the water's filled the boat and the boat's sinking. So that's what we don't want. All right, with that, so we did baseball, we did pro football, we did Comex, we did bricks, talked gold, talked inflation. Be alert. That's what's happening, and this is not a guess. This is what's happening. We know bricks September, October will go gold back. We believe that's what Mark McGuire is telling us. I believe that this time. He blindsided me last time. I thought it was going to be April, and then it didn't happen. I'm like, oh, I'm sure it happened. And then Comex will go out soon. We don't know when exactly, but they're out of physical gold, so they can't do the derivatives to keep the price down. Look for the gold to go up with that, and the petrodollar should raise gold as raises inflation. So all these things happening. Now you understand what's happening, and then you can prepare, and the best way is with gold and silver. Silver is going to take a little bit longer. I think you're going to get frustrated with the silver getting better at a better price because you really need to get rid of the derivatives and get out of paper to make silver go. And I don't know. Now, supposedly the Chinese and the Indians are buying it right from the mines and bypassing the ring fence casino, but um, who knows when that's going to affect it. Soon, I hope, but all you can do is prepare. As Vince Lombardi said, you don't play the game on Sunday. You prepare and play the game on Tuesday. So by Sunday, you've already prepared. You already played it. You're already ready to go. Now it's just play it, but you're already prepared for it. So we're getting prepared. We're buying the gold and silver now while the prices are still affordable. I could have bought silver today at 31, but I didn't. I wanted to wait uh, between the vacation and the trust. I want to wait and see what I get and go from there. All right, everybody. Well, have a wonderful day. I'm pretty sure I'll be on tomorrow. I'm debating. I'm just going to go up to like an hour away, go to an outlet mall, buy some more shirts and pants, and then go to this Frankenmuth City just to relax, just to get out and relax. So I think what I'll do, I'm not sure if I'll do it tomorrow or the 4th or maybe even the 5th. But usually I go on the 4th because they have sales, right? That's why I'm going. Well, it's a discount mall anyway, but I don't give it. I bought this there for $39. Now they're like $100. So I was smart enough to do that. So if I see more for 40 or 50, I'll stack up on them. But I don't think they make them anymore. It's ridiculous. These are the softest shirts you've ever felt. Anyway, so that's what I have. Oh, I'm pretty sure I'll be on tomorrow because even if I go up there, I can swim tomorrow. It's pretty normal. Thursday, the pool closes early. So I don't know if I'm going to run early to the pool, then go to the resort, and then go to the mall. I might not go to the pool Thursday. I might just drive up and then come back, teach, and go to my pool here. Anyway, that's what's going on. So www.teaserking.com. Get my email there if you have any questions or comments. Good luck on the baseball, and then looking at the football. I've been looking at my economics a little bit more, and it's all coming into play. You're printing the money to zero. It's worthless. Your only out is gold and silver because you can't print it. I mean, it's as simple as that. Yet people want to make it, oh, it's not because of the printing, it's the trust. No, it confused me. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's strictly the printing. So anyway, just realize that and be careful who you listen to. All right, www.teaserking.com. Good luck. Have a great 4th of July. Enjoy it. Probably, I would think you got a 4 or 5 day weekend because if you got 4th of July off, you probably got Friday off. It gives you Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe you're taking tomorrow off. I know they're going for the gold store. They're closed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. They're normally closed Sunday and Monday. So they're taking a 5-day holiday. I said, fuck it. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Enjoy. Take care.